So one of my buddies just hit me up and he asked me, is Jeffrey Epstein having a positive impact on the economy? And I like to think through a bunch of different things, especially now. My wife and I we're worth over $5 million. We got 4 kids. We have a couple of different businesses, and we like to look at different things that are going to impact what's going on with our finances. And we've done a pretty good job. I'm here on a business trip in Oregon right now, and we've done a good job of trying to figure out what are our financial I's, dotting those financial I's, making sure that and crossing those financial T's, making sure that we're spending less than we are making. And what does that have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? And so one of the big questions around this is is the Epstein work and the fact that a lot of pressure is on Trump to release this file. He said he was going to do it. They kept telling everybody he was going to do it during his during the elections, and all the Trumpinators that blindly follow him are now like, oh my gosh, stop asking him about this. It's not even that big of a deal. It's okay. And then you got the everybody on the left who is also going, yo, release this. And there are a lot of Trumpinators that if it's one thing they hate more than liberals, it's pedos. Genuinely. For good reason, right? Really, really good reason. So is this having a positive impact? Because, and this is the wild part, is that the person who mentioned this to me said, well, why do you think this trade deal with the EU that just came through, this is top-notch work. Dude, Trumpsky got it done. Trumpsky got the trade deal done with the EU. And it's actually real things in there that are tangible. We will spend this much money. There's also a lot of stuff that these things haven't been identified yet. We're not positive what they're going to be. But a lot of what Trumpsky put in there is actually there's going to be money coming into the economy from this. And so the argument was made that the trade deals are being solidified, that some of the stuff around stable coins and the Clarity Act and a lot of those things coming into light now, that basically we're going to start to see, because of this rise in AI, and now Trumpsky is coming out and saying we're signing these deals we're signing these bills with the Genius Act and with the Clarity Act, that all these things that we're going to start to see come to fruition are going to be based around the fact that he wants the economy to really, really pop off, to sort of take the Epstein stuff off the market, off the presses, right? So the one thing I think around this is first of all, we got to remember there's a real short timeline for how people react to news. So I think that's important to recognize. The second thing that was interesting is that on top of this, he did come out and say he could pardon Maxwell, Epstein's concubine, woman, co-organizer. He did say he could pardon her. Now, whether or not he would want to do that, I don't know. They're going to probably give her immunity because she supposedly released over 100 different names. And now the conspiracy that was presented to me on top of this was that she's going to say 100 different names. Trumpsky's not going to be on the list. And while this is all happening and they're sort of going through these deals with her, they're going to solidify this great deal with the EU. Great job, Trumpsky. You got it done. And now what they're going to start to do is try and really draw out the discussions and the trade meetings with China. That's coming up August 1st. So it's that Friday. This video might be out hopefully before that. And so the whole argument goes back to, we're seeing crypto really start to take off with Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're seeing the market is just skyrocketing. Earnings season's coming through where as a whole, there's a 6%, I think it was 6% beat on the projections for earnings from the market, which could end up being a year-over-year 12% increase on beat. So that's really, really good for the market. Now, also tomorrow, we're seeing there's going to be some talks about, the job reports are coming in, and then there's going to be discussions around whether or not they're going to start setting up to cut rates. The Fed's going to set up to cut rates here in the next couple in September, which seems likely that is going to, or at least they're going to be talking about potentially setting that up. Now, what does this have to do with Jeffrey Epstein? Okay, so is that what's happening? I would go out on a limb and say no. What I think is likely happening is Trump's likely in the Epstein files. They're never going to actually release them now. All the Trumpinators that hate pedos for a good reason, they all should. They should keep doing this, right? Are going to be upset that it never gets released, but they'll blindly follow. All the left-leaning people, they have no spine. They have no ability to keep bringing this up. They're all frauds, and they're incapable of doing that. And I think what ends up happening is that when it comes down to the market, we've got to recognize that these companies have been setting up for this for years. 5 years, 4 or 5 years plus, probably 10 years. Lisa Su took over AMD when it was a $2 stock. It's now at 180. 180. It's been up over 200 in the past, but it is on going to the moon. And so we have to recognize that these plans and these thought processes, presidential thought or presidential impact on the market is not that high because of how much impact companies and CEOs and employees in the market, how much planning goes into their strategy way, way, way in the future. So there can be some things. I do think something like stable coins. I think this stuff can be a catalyst for AI. I do believe that will be a catalyst for AI, but we're not going to even see that play out currently. Like, yes, we'll see some stocks like Circle take off, Ripple take off, right? But it's going to take a while because this stuff's not going to be put into motion for another 12 to 18 months. So did Trump actually plan all of this stuff to happen to sort of hide his involvement that could be, we can't prove one way or another, but like to hide his involvement with Jeffrey Epstein? I highly, highly doubt it. What I think is happening is I think there's some really, really strong companies. The American ingenuity in AI is absolutely unbelievably strong. And I think that even to a point when I will say this with Trump is, I hate everybody. I talk trash on everyone. But he sat down, he met with Jensen Huang, he met with Lisa Su, Tom Lee was there, and they're talking to him about the AI initiative and what they could be doing relative to China. And he got this EU trade stuff done, and the EU stuff is fantastic for the US. So I don't think he's bright enough in the sense to set this up as some overarching conspiracy. I think it all is just sort of falling at the same time, and he's got people behind him backing him up, basically trying to piece these things together while giving this immunity plea to Maxwell. And I don't think it's something that is this long-term plan. I just wanted to address this because it was a big question. Is there an Epstein economic effect? Is that real? Is that actually leading to an increase in performance because Trump's trying to hide all these other things going on? And I just don't think that that's a factor. I think it's important for us to recognize that really this is still the economy from Joe Biden. Like, genuinely, that's how this works, right? Like, all the way up till probably January of 26, you could say that. But I also don't think the president really has that much impact because CEOs plan, they strategize based off of the market and based off of what they see ahead, at least from my personal experience. And I don't run a business anywhere close to something like AMD, but I am saying that I think these things are thought out way in advance. So I think it's just a coincidence and there's actually no conspiracy. Peace.